What's up, guys? Mega Bleeder here, back with another episode of Star Technology. Remember, if you're not, head over to that subscribe button and get subscribed. We're up to almost 600 subscribers, so hit that. All right, now that I'm past that, I want to try and get better at doing that. Last episode, actually between the episodes, I did do a stream where I built out this big platform that's now infested with bats. And that's just because we haven't lit it up completely. I do have some of these street lights that I built here using girders and the illuminated panels from Simply Lights. And I've got a little plating wall down here. During that stream, we also set up our first distillation tower, and I am processing the fluids coming out of that into the next set of ores that we are needing to work on, which is here. So we've got the raw ores coming out. This is something we need to work on. The problem is we get hit pretty hard on power while everything is trying to run. While we have blast furnaces running, all of that, it can be a big challenge to keep up with our power. So I did go ahead and expand. This was between the episodes. I went ahead and added 3 more turbines because we had 4. So between those 7 turbines and these 8 turbines here, we're doing a decent job keeping up with our power demands. And you can see these boilers actually aren't even running. The problem that I ran into after adding all these turbines is we didn't have enough charcoal. So our charcoal was really struggling. And what I did to fix that was built a dedicated kind of charcoal subnet here. So over here, I've got a greenhouse running at EV, getting us oak logs. I've got 2 multi-smelters here processing up those oak logs into charcoal. And then over here, I've got 2 LCRs, which is definitely overkill to make sure that we're supplying this greenhouse here with carbon dioxide. So really similar to the same setup we had over here. Over here, we're making trees coming out the back. We're storing that. Over here, charcoal and oxygen get looped to turn into the carbon dioxide. Just this system here was a little bit slow. So I rebuilt it to be able to accommodate a lot more charcoal. And this is a whole little subnet here that's separate. So I've got an output bus that's outputting the logs into this interface. Now, the only place that it's allowed to store on the network is actually over here. There's a storage bus that's filtered for oak logs, and that's the input bus for this dual multi-smelter. So that gets pumped into there automatically and as fast as possible. Then that charcoal is coming out into this output bus, which is being dumped into this interface. And the only place allowed to store charcoal on the network is in these molecular assemblers. And this one here is actually set up on a higher priority. And it goes lower as it goes down, so it's going to fill up this one first. So the charcoal gets stored in here, obviously gets crafted in the charcoal blocks, and then it gets pumped into this interface. We probably won't see it happen because it's pretty fast. And the only place it's allowed to store is in these drawers, or in this drawer. I've got this set up with a level emitter. That way it won't flicker constantly all the time. And I didn't get all my cable anchors down here like so. I really need to get the resources to paint my AE2 networks. So these things are running, and it's running really nicely, and it's a complete network from itself. The charcoal I'm supplying here, and then from this laser node, it's pulling it out and putting it into these boilers. So now we are making plenty of enough steam to supply these guys. But what I want to do, because we are still on, we do have flux networks, but we are still using this yellow network for transferring power. And I actually want to get away from that. What I want to do is switch over completely to flux networks and get rid of all of these laser nodes, as well as getting rid of these redstone flux cells. You see here, these are only holding 12 million. This one is upgraded, so it can hold 24 million, and that's with the HV upgrade kit. But if we take a look at flux networks, the gargantuan flux storage will hold 128, that's million, right? Billion, 128 billion, which is significantly more. And I went ahead and set those guys up over here, so they're automatically running now. We have ran out of flux dust. I did have 2,000 of this stored up, but turns out it takes like 2,000 to craft a single gargantuan flux storage. So yeah, that's gonna sit and run for a while. And actually what I'll probably do is turn this off for now. So I'm going to change the channel. That way we can get backed up on these resources, because we're going to need a lot of it to be able to make more points and plugs. So it takes these flux cores to make the plugs, which adds energy to the network, and the points extract it. So plugs you would put on a generator, like I have here. This is power going in, and then points act like, where do I have one set up? Act like kind of power inputs, like into the system here. So what I want to do today is actually shift everything over away from Flux Networks, or from Laser IO, and to Flux Networks. So what I'm going to do, and I didn't do this already, I didn't realize this was going to be so taxed. But I am going to get probably about a stack of points and a stack of plugs, which is going to be a little bit expensive, but I'll be right back. Okay, so a little bit of a snag. We're actually running into a couple of issues. The flux dust, I'm having an issue making that. We can see here I'm right towards the tail end of this recipe. The problem that I'm having is we're actually not producing enough lava. You can see here this machine actually goes down for a little bit, because our lava production is done with the stone barrels over here that we set up ages ago. So I do have 10 of these guys running, but it's still basically only 500 millibuckets every 10 seconds is about what that comes out to, because it's 500, or it's 500 millibuckets a second, which isn't that fast. It takes 2 seconds to get a bucket, so it's pretty slow. We are getting some flux dust in, but it's just not that fast. So what I want to actually do is shift my attention over to titanium, because we need to get some EV stuff. So processing titanium, we're going to need the hot titanium ingot. We're going to have to use a vacuum freezer. We're going to have to make a vacuum freezer to be able to make that guy. That'll be our first step into that. The titanium we're going to make with magnesium and titanium tetrachloride. This we're going to need rutile. I've got 4 different sources of rutile here. Basically, it's just ilmenite and bauxite, just different ways to process that. So we're going to need to get another large chemical reactor with chlorine, carbon, and rutile. So we need to take the ilmenite and bauxite is what we're going to be processing from here. So if I take a look, the ilmenite, we've got the raw, so we need to macerate, and then we're going to thermal centrifuge and macerate again. So we're going to need a total of 4 macerators and 2 thermal centrifuges. So we got 1 macerator. That's nice. And then the thermal centrifuge, we need 2 HV ones. We got everything to be able to make that. So what I'm going to do, this is Zidal. So let's take some of those guys, and we're going to build this out. Let's go here. And we'll do a macerator, centrifuge. And what I probably want to do, because this is going to get macerated out, it's going to take iron dust, so I need to actually change this slightly. Let's go here. Macerator, centrifuge, like so. And what I need to do is get power to these guys. So these are going to get hooked up back here. And I think I'm just going to pull the power over. Grab my wire cutters. Get that hooked up, that hooked up, that hooked up, and that hooked up. So these now have power. Excellent. And I need to pull over ilmenite and bauxite. And the way that I'm going to do that, I could just use laser IO. What I'll do is get some interfaces like so. Let's make those small. Do those. And bauxite is going to go on the bottom. Ilmenite on the top. And from over here, we're going to put 2 more interfaces. And some storage buses. Then after we process these, we're getting the crushed variants. So ilmenite, bauxite, and then the rest of it is just going to go into the system, so it'll get pumped into here. And then we just need to make sure that iron dust and grossular, what does this do? Crushed into dust, we can electrolyze it. Oh, we can, there's a decent amount of resources coming in there. Okay. So let's get that hooked up. And this can pass through 32 channels. So let's do it this way. I think I'm going to connect that there. There. So that'll connect to that. Then up here we can do this. And that should be storing that. Yep, fantastic. And I'm going to need some robot arms. And those are going to be set to import. Great. Fantastic. Now these will have some resources coming out. This grossular and stone dust. And stone dust we are storing. This is going to give us iron at some point. So this grossular, let's set down some drawers over here. Waiting on switching these over to doubles. Because like the pitch blend is going to have stuff coming out of it as well. All of these are going to have another output. And I think I want to store them over here. So let's do that. Like so. Now I can't see what these are supposed to be. I know we had bauxite there. Let's grab our tools. What else? I gotta check my filters. Nope. We need the fluid filter, pitch blend. Where's pitch blend? Molybdenite. Ilmenite. Tungstate. What was this one? What's this one? Bastnasite. And then finally, this is sheldonite. So I can unlock these. Pick those up, swap this out. Drop all that in there. I'll save that for a second. The grossular comes from bauxite. Iron dust comes from ilmenite. Apparently I just got a iron dust quest reward. I am going to upgrade these drawers. And put voids on them. Like so. Okay, and then stuff like stone dust already has like a storage somewhere. It's like over here. There's one. And I believe there's another one over here somewhere. No? How much stone dust do I have? 3,000? Gotta have some more someplace else. Oh, I think there might be some in one of these. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. There has to be some stored somewhere. I don't think it's just in this chest. Oh, nope, sure is. Right there. So let's put this over here. And that's on void. All right. So we can break these guys. And now I can hook up these. Now these should get... Oh, I need to put this on auto export. Oh, that's not right. Ilmenite should be up here. Bauxite is down here. Let's swap that to there. Refined ilmenite. Okay. And this is going to be auto. So that's going in there. We need to take the refined materials out. And that needs to go into another macerator. Now these, that's getting rutile and stone. Let's grab 2 more storage buses and 2 more interfaces. This guy's only using 10 channels. So refined going there. And this is refined going here. Now the rutile coming out, this needs to go into a chemical reactor. So I need to build another chemical reactor over here as well. But I can just take this guy and hook it up. And this... Let's change... to this. Fourteen channels. This should be all set up. Auto export. Auto export. Macerator. This needs to go Oh, I need power. Go. Now these guys are running. That's giving us another chance, right? That's going to be gallium that we get, and another opportunity at rutile. Awesome. And these are going to need faces, interfaces, to go there. And that's just pulling that in. Gallium, bauxite, awesome. And we'll do one more. Let's grab some anchors just to separate this out. Okay, 6 channels. Ilmenite, rutile, bauxite, gallium. So now we need to process that, process that. These are going to be auto exports or auto outputs. Awesome. Now this is going into an EBF, and this is going into an electrolyzer. That's carbon and ilmenite. And carbon monoxide. Do I have carbon monoxide? I don't. But we do get some of it. Oh, no, it's giving us carbon monoxide. My bad, my bad. Okay, so an electrolyzer. And there's probably a large electrolyzer, but I don't have this set up. I could, but it's just going to be a long process, so we're not going to do that just yet. So the bauxite is going into an electrolyzer. And that I could actually just put... I want to make sure there's none of that in there. And this ilmenite, bauxite, ilmenite, bauxite. Yeah, is this faster? 5 seconds. Okay, it's not faster. I probably need to switch these out for interfaces and the same thing over here, and then put robot arms on them. Yeah, let's do that for interfaces. Brushed ilmenite. And this crushed bauxite. And then robot arms, and let's grab our screwdriver to more easily adjust it. Import, import. Yeah. Okay, and these need to be interfaces as well. Refined. Refined. 2 more robot arms. Okay. And another interface. Do have enough channels over here, right? 16 channels. This guy is going to be bauxite. It goes into an electrolyzer. Bauxite. Bam. Full stack. That goes there. That goes there. That's going to give us aluminum, more rutile, and more oxygen. Oh, is my oxygen? Decent. Robot arm. Import. Aluminum, rutile, oxygen. Auto export that. And fluids. Okay, so we did have room for oxygen. Okay, so now it's just the ilmenite, and we're going to need a blast furnace for that. So, electric blast furnace. This ilmenite is carbon and ilmenite, so input hatch, that's going to be an LV. Ooh, I'm out of wooden crates, wooden screws. On input bus. Output, ULV output, or LV output bus. And an output hatch. Yes, output hatch. Oils, 16. And a maintenance hatch. HV hatches. Now, can I do this? This is at HV. It's 80 seconds. That's pretty slow. So if we take it up to EV, okay. HV energy hatch. And let's go. Now the rutile, this goes into a chemical reactor. So we're going to start a new line over here. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll be the back. So that's the front. HV energy hatches. Maintenance hatch. Oils. Muffler hatch. Okay, now let's see if we do. I could do power on the top. That might be better. And we'll do output, output, input. Input, output, output. Power's there, and then heat proof casing. Muffler, flip it around to the inside. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so we need this. We need 16 amp energy converter, just because that's what I use. Pop that guy there, do that, that, and that. And then 3 more interfaces. Now the input bus, I want to flip around. And then a robot arm. And a filter. It's going to be keep exact import. And it is ilmenite carbon. Ilmenite 10 carbon. Ilmenite carbon. And then it should be good. Let's get a point. Pop that down there. And 2 more wireless connectors. Like so. This should be keep exact import. I don't want it to be 1 though. Why does it say 1? I feel like I had this problem before and I was doing something weird. Import, keep exact. Oh, what did it just do? Did it run? How fast is it? Is it out of power? What's the issue? Don't have power in the network. Oh, bypass limit. There we go. Okay, rutile, wrought iron, carbon monoxide. I don't understand import. Keep exact. 10. Why is it not working? Oh, duh, 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 duh. I remember. Now I can do it like this. Yes, there we go. There we go. Okay, and let's grab a little light. Pop that right there, so that's illuminated. Fantastic. The problem is we've got, or not problem, but now we've got carbon monoxide. I do have 1 more fluid cell. Let's take over here and put a drive on this guy. Drive. Ooh. Okay, so we're not going to do that. I'm going to put it over here. Don't really want to get sidetracked. Let's grab an overflow card, too. Pop that in there. This is carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide. Store that. Okay, so no problems there, no problems there. And now we are processing everything. We will catch up on this eventually. Bauxite. 120 bauxite. We're slowly getting more of those resources. Okay. So now we just need to take the rutile. And that's going into a chemical reactor with that carbon monoxide. No, we're going to get more carbon monoxide. Okay. Chlorine. How's our chlorine? Chlorine's great. So we need a chemical reactor. These bad boys. And it's 2 items, 1 fluid, 2 fluids out. Let's take some of these. PTFE. We need one of those. We need HV energy hatches. We need a maintenance hatch. We need a coil. Input bus. That'll be fine. And then output hatch. We need 2 of these. Like so. And that should be everything. Put that here. Input, output. We'll do maintenance and energy. And then it should just be filling the rest of this in. That forms. Excellent. Let's grab some more aluminum wire. Hook that up. And we do still have plenty of channels. Yeah, 21. 3 more interfaces. And cables running across. Input bus. Let's flip that around. Grab another robot arm. And a filter. And the rutile and carbon. Chlorine. Be a whitelist. Import. Keep exact. Carbon. Rutile. Yep, there we go. And then this is... Wait a minute, I need chlorine to go in. So I need another input. I need an input hatch. Output hatch. Output hatch. We'll do ULV. Oh, I need 4 buckets? Yeah, that's fine. Pop that guy on there, put chlorine in it. Hook it up. And this is rutile carbon. Yeah. All right. Now if I disconnect this, how long is this recipe? 5 seconds. So we'll get, and I want to lock this, let's say carbon monoxide and titanium tetrachloride. Like so. Okay, that's hooked up. And now the titanium tetrachloride needs to go into another EBF with 1 fluid, 1 item. Input, we'll go ULV, bus, input hatch, and then the output is 2 items, magnesium chloride and hot titanium. So output, a ULV won't work, but an LV will work. Leave 1 block gap, so there. Input bus, input hatch, output bus. Maintenance, muffler, oils. Maintenance. And MV or HV energy hatches. And wires. Like so. Now I'm gonna need more interface channels, so I think what I'm actually gonna do is move this over to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So if I do that, and then reconnect that there. And I need interfaces. Input, hatch, input bus. The input bus. Magnesium, and then the titanium. So the import bus is getting magnesium dust. This is getting the titanium. This is not being stored anywhere yet. Now this doesn't have polyvinyl acetate. How else do I make that? An EBF, a chemical reactor. Yeah, so I'm not going to use that for anything else other than titanium production, right? So I could swap this out with a storage bus. Let's break that first and then put that in there. And that should work. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and how long do you take? 20 seconds. Let's disable that for a second. Okay, so next we need to handle... We've got magnesium chloride. That can just be an electrolyzer. So let's build an electrolyzer so we have that. We can probably just put that, like, up here. So that's got power, and then... How do I want to do that? We'll put an interface on here. Let's do it this way. Then we need a blast furnace. And the vacuum freezer. And then that, we also need frost-proof casing. And everything else is fine. This is going to be our first vacuum freezer. We're missing one thing. Aluminum frames. Grab a bunch of those. Yeah, let's grab a bunch of those. Why not? Boom. Vacuum freezer, and the face of the vacuum freezer goes there. What's the inside of this guy look like? It's hollow. Okay. So we'll do that. And it's just the vacuum freezer. That's it. Input bus on that. Input bus. We can go ULV. And then also an output bus of ULV. Fantastic. Input. That's how I'm doing it right. Input and output. Input is going to be fuzzy card. I make one of those? Yeah, look at that. Match any hot ingot. Yes, and then that needs to be that, so HV energy hatch. Frostproof casing. We'll do it that way. That should form. Oh, maintenance hatch. There we go. And power goes there. And cable gets hooked up. You got 9 channels. 27. Magnesium. Let's get another interface. I need one for there too. Yeah. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Place that there. Place that there. And then I need a robot arm to do that. And this is going to be import. But then we're also going to allow import from export side. Auto. That goes in there. And that's just a titanium ingot that comes out. And the place I want to store that is here. Or here. Okay. So, all I need to do is hook this up. These will get sucked in. They should get processed here. This needs to be auto export on chlorine. This is getting hot titanium ingots. It's working for seconds. We're getting titanium. Sweet, look at that. Bam. Let's lock that, and we need to upgrade this drawer. Controller. To hook up to that. Excellent. Now, what did I not get? Resource production, processing lines. Titanium is down here. So crushed bauxite and crushed ilmenite. Crushed ilmenite. Crushed bauxite. Okay. Rutile. We got a lot of that. Titanium tetrachloride. That's slow. Processing that rutile is really slow. The titanium tetrachloride. Is there any in here? Yeah, there's a lot in here. Let's grab a bucket. And take that out. I know it's a checkbox quest, so it doesn't really matter. Hot titanium, we can grab none of that. We do that. Wait just a second, we'll see it come in. Hot titanium and then titanium. Okay, yeah, those are good. And hook that bad boy up. Fantastic. Now we have titanium. That's huge because we can get EV stuff now. This vacuum freezer should take any hot ingots and put them in here. And it should process them, so that should be good there. Magnesium. I need to change this. I need to filter this. Input. And we're going to blacklist that magnesium. Blacklist magnesium. Take that out. Let's grab another little light. Put there. All right. Titanium. 27. Why is it not going into here? This will happen real fast. 4 seconds. We should see this go from 27 to 28. Where is it storing that? Is it storing it in here? Yes. This needs to be on a super negative priority. I don't know why that went in there. It shouldn't have. Hmm. So that's importing. It's getting put into here. That can see this. That's this network. This is the network over here. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll fix it. All right, so I got it all fixed up. So now it's going into the right drawer. And I also covered up all of my cables here with facades. If we use our network tool, we can actually see through the facades, which is pretty nice. But so we finished titanium. I think what I'm going to do is call the episode here for today. I thought we were going to work on our kind of power spine, but we just do not have the resources that we need to do that just because we're running low on lava. We do have a lot of flux dust. Why is this not... We're out of obsidian. Interesting. So that means this guy is not getting what? Why is that not making obsidian? Lava 10 on the barrel? Okay. So didn't realize that I was low on obsidian, but apparently we were. We chewed through all of that and that recipe changed, I guess, at some point. So I'll let this kind of sit and process for a while. Barrel, stone barrel. Yeah, it looks like that's probably about the best way to do it. We could use magma blocks. Rock breaker. We made an HV rock breaker. It would just work similar to the way that this guy works. So we just have a rock breaker with lava and water. And redstone. Maybe I'll do that. But the next thing that we'll be working on in the next upgrade is updating the power spine. Like I said, we were going to do today, but we did not get to. So upgrading the power spine, and then I know that I need more lava, so we're going to make the industrial barrel. And I think we have just about everything to be able to do that, except for this laminated glass. We need this polyvinyl butyrol, which means we need this guy. So butyraldehyde, polyvinyl acetate. So we're going to have to figure out how to do that. That'll be a bunch of LCRs that I end up setting up. Over here, I'm going to try and fit Platline here. Let me know if this looks like enough room. But then I'm going to start to spam LCRs, the large barrel for lava, stuff like that over here. But that's going to be it for this episode. We got ourselves some titanium, so we can now start getting into the EV progression. Thanks for stopping in.